Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound? Yes, it's been 85 years since the world was introduced to this mysterious and amazing stranger from the planet Krypton, the Man of Steel himself, Superman. But can you believe it's been 45 years since his big movie came out? Well then, you better believe it. So on your toes, because here's a re-review of Superman the movie. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1978 superhero flick Superman, or Superman the movie as it was marketed as. Originally released in the US by Warner Bros. And in the UK by Columbia EMI Warner Distributors, and directed by Richard Donner, this was the first of 4 installments of a film series franchise. The film starred Christopher Reeve in the title role and his little alter ego on Earth, Clark Kent, along with a big all-star cast including Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, Jeff East, Margot Kidder, Glenn Ford, Phyllis Dexter, Jackie Cooper, Trevor Howard, Marc McClure, Terrence Stamp, Valerie Perrine, Ned Beatty, Jack O'Halloran, Maria Schell, and Sarah Douglas. The film depicts the origins of Superman, including his infancy as Kal-El of Krypton, son of Jor-El, and his youthful years in the rural town of Smallville. Disguised as reporter Clark Kent, he adopts a mild-mannered disposition in Metropolis and develops a romance with Lois Lane while battling the villainous Lex Luthor. The film was released in the US on this day, December 15, 1978. Henceforth, today's the 50th, not 50th, excuse me, 40, I almost said, I was about to say 50, I meant 45. Apologies. Now, although it premiered a day before that in the UK, and a few days before that at the Kennedy Center. Now, in the Elias Salkind had the idea of a film back in '73, and after a difficult process with DC Comics, Elia and his son bought the rights to the character the following year. There were so many people who were associated with the project before Donner was hired to direct. Of course, Richard Donner, after he had recently directed The Omen a couple of years before this, and of course he'd go on to do lots of other great films, including The Goonies and the Lethal Weapon franchise. Oh, the list would go on and on. This was the most expensive film made up to that point, with a budget of $55 million. But anyway, it was a big success. Now, let's get into our story. On the planet Krypton, Jor-El, a member of the Kryptonian High Council, sentences criminals General Zod, Non, and Ursa to the Phantom Zone. Now, we'll be seeing more of them in the next film. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. He warns the Council that Krypton will be destroyed by its exploding red supergiant sun, but they dismiss his concerns. Before the planet's destruction, Jor-El and his wife Lara send their baby son Kal-El to Earth, where his unique physiology grants him evolving superhuman abilities. Kal-El's spaceship touches down near Smallville, Kansas. Found by Jonathan and Martha Kent, when he astonishingly lifts their truck, they adopt him, naming him Clark. As he grows, hiding his powers, Jonathan believes Clark was sent to Earth for a special purpose. After Jonathan's death from a heart attack, a teenage Clark discovers a green crystal in his spacecraft's remains. This leads him to the R8, where he constructs the Fortress of Solitude, echoing Krypton's design. Inside, Jor-El's hologram reveals Clark's heritage and trains him for 12 years. Emerging in a blue and red suit bearing the House of El Crest, he's cautioned against changing human history. At the Daily Planet in Metropolis, Clark becomes a reporter and is drawn to Lois Lane. After saving her from a helicopter accident, he uses his powers in public acts of heroism, gaining immediate fame as the Caped Wonder. Perry White, the Daily Planet's chief, seeks more information on this new hero. Clark later visits Lois, taking her on a flight, leading her to coin his name Superman. However, criminal mastermind Lex Luthor discovers a joint U.S. Army U.S. Navy missile test and plots to target the San Andreas Fault with reprogrammed missiles. Though one is misdirected by his bumbling assistant Otis, suspecting Superman's interference, Lex identifies a Kryptonian meteorite lethal to Superman. With Otis and girlfriend Eve Teschmacher, Lex retrieves it and traps Superman in his lair, revealing his plan to sink the the western U.S., making his desert land prime coastline. He weakens Superman using the meteor, now known as kryptonite, and informs him of the misdirected missiles set for Hackensack, New Jersey. Now I'm going to go to the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video, go to the description box below, and fast forward to the time below. As I count down, if you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Concerned for her mother in Hackensack, Teschmacher frees Superman, urging him to stop the first missile, which is eastbound. He sends it to space, but misses the westbound missile, which triggers severe earthquakes in California, endangering landmarks like the Golden Gate Bridge and Hoover Dam. Superman counteracts the devastation by mending the fault line. As Superman rescues others, Lois gets trapped in her car by an aftershock, suffocating before he can save her. Distraught Superman disregards Jor-El's warning against altering history. Hating Jonathan's belief in his purpose, he flies around Earth, reversing time to prevent Lois's death and the missile's destruction. After saving the West Coast, he imprisons Luthor and Otis, then soars into the sunrise. End of story. So what did I think of Superman the movie? Well, I love this movie. This is a very good superhero flick. I really will say it is one of the most amazing superhero flicks. Long before we even got Tim Burton's Batman, before we even got Spider-Man as a movie, before we got Wonder Woman in a movie, or Aquaman, there was Superman the movie. The film was a critical and financial success. Its worldwide box office earnings of $300 million made it the second highest grossing film of the year, and received praise for Christopher Reeve's performance and the musical score by John Williams, who had recently done the score for Star Wars the previous year. It was nominated for Best Film Editing, Best Music, Original Score, and Best Sound at the 51st Academy Awards, and received a Special Achievement Academy Award for Visual Effects. Groundbreaking in its use of special effects and sci-fi fantasy storytelling, the film's legacy presaged the mainstream popularity of Hollywood's superhero film franchises. In 2017, the film was selected by Preservation. I'm sorry for mispronouncing this. By the Library of Congress's National Film Registry. Overall, I thought this was a blast from start to finish. Let's see. This will also be one of Warner Bros.' most successful film at the time when it was released, and became the highest grossing film of 1978 in North America. Well, in ways, but although it became the second one overall for both the US and Canada, losing to Grease, but even though it did beat out Animal House and Every Which Way But Loose, which was also released by Warner Bros., which look for a review of that soon, it still did well. It got good reviews. Film currently sits at certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with 94% saying the film deftly blends humor and gravitas, taking advantage of the perfectly cast Reeve to craft a loving, nostalgic tribute to an American pop culture icon. Definitely. The creators, the character Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, gave a positive reaction. Shuster was delighted to see Superman on the screen. He got chills, and Christopher Reeve has just the right touch of humor. He really is Superman. Well, I could say was Superman. We all know Christopher Reeve, that Reeve's been dead for some time, for years. Roger Ebert, liked it as well. Although describing the Krypton scenes as ponderous and what have you. I mean, and Brando was allegedly paid $3 million for his role, or judging by his dialogue, $500,000 a cliche. Ebert wrote that the film is a pure delight of wondrous combination of all the old-fashioned things we never really get tired of: adventure and romance, heroes and villains, earth-shaking special effects, and you know what else? Wit. He praised Reeves' performance, stating that he sells the role. Wrong casting here would have sunk everything, and concluded that the film works so well because of its wit and special effects. Gene Siskel wrote in the Chicago Tribune, calling it a delightful mess. Good performances, sloppy editing, cheap, non-flying special effects, funny dialogue. In sum, the film is the kind of picture critics tear apart, but still say you ought to see it. Oh, wow. Let's see. Variety said it was a wonderful, chuckling, preposterously exciting fantasy. And as both the wholesome Man of Steel and his bumbling secret identity, Clark Kent, Reeve is excellent. The New York Times wrote a mixed review saying the Superman comic strip has been carefully, elaborately, sometimes willily blown up for the big theater screen, which, though busy, often seems sort of empty. The LA Times called it a big letdown, praising Reeve as the salvaging strength of the film, but referring to the manner of the villain as an essential problem, finding that even in a succession of wigs, Gene Hackman is not preposterous, funny, or dementedly menacing, and what he's doing here is not evident. However, the Washington Post said, despite a lull here and a lapse there, this super production turned out to be prodigiously inventive and enjoyable. Doubly blessed by sophisticated illusionists behind the cameras and a brilliant new stellar personality in front of the camera. Christopher Reeve, a young actor, at once handsome and astute enough to rationalize the preposterous fancy of a comic book superhero in the flesh. Definitely agree with a lot of the good ones, the good reviews. I think this provided with all sorts of things it had to offer and what have you. Definitely. So anyway, I'm happy with what this movie had to offer. This fun action scenes and what have you, especially Superman's first night. That was probably one of the best moments in what have you. He realized he couldn't get, there was no actual phone booth so he could step into, so he used revolving doors and what have you. When Lois is falling from the metal helm by the chopper that got hung on something, and well, he charged it up into the sky and gets, don't worry, I got you. Like, you got me, who's got you? Yeah, and after that, he stopped a cat burglar and what have you. He's trying to scale up a building, and Superman's like, "Hi, there's something wrong with the elevator." That's a classic. Let's see, what else did he do? He stopped these here crooks from hanging out on a yacht with all the money they took, and this guy tries to hit him with a crowbar, and Superman's like, bad vibrations. He even saves this girl's cat from the tree and what have you. That was good. And, well, this is a part I failed to put in my original review of this. He even saves a plane once one of its engines, turbine engines, gets burned out and what have you. And well, one of the pilots sees him as he gets away, and the pilot's like, "It's like, what's going on? How are we going?" Well, and the pilot's just like, "Fly." Don't tell you. I'm not gonna tell you how. What's going on up there? Just fly. Well, something like that. But yeah, really something. I really liked it. I especially really like when the last bit when Superman brought Lex and Lois to prison. The Warren as who Superman's brought, and Lex takes off his wig. Yeah, reveals he's Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time. Uh, and the Warren thanks him and says, "Yeah, the thing, we're on the same side. Good night," and off he goes. Okay, that about covers it. Now, later on, by contract, Richard Donner had major editorial control over what was theatrically released. The South Times had editorial control of what was shown outside of theaters. This was a result of deals that had been made between the producers and the ABC television network prior to the film's release. Now, of course, in 1981, when the television rights reverted to the South Times, the producer had already prepared a 3-hour and 8-minute version that actually had been the first version of the film visually locked down prior to being re-edited for theatrical release. I do seem to recall that, as a matter of fact. ABC premiered Superman in early 1982 with a majority of the unused footage. However, they did it in two separate parts, though. And then later on, CBS got the rights when the TV rights reverted to Warner Bros. And CBS aired it. And then it went to syndication in 1988 following a play-out run on pay cable. So anyway, yeah. It also got shown on USA and lots of others and what have you. So anyway, I really liked it. I do remember, I have seen the actual extended version of the film, which was pretty good. I do believe. Yes. In 2017, there will be a Blu ray release from the Warner Archive, which would be called Superman the Movie Extended Cut, with the video release visually restored by Warner Bros. Imaging Department. And other than the opening and end credits, which are in true stereo, the film is presented in an enhanced version of the Model TV sound mix. Incredible. But Donner was critical of this extended cut. He calls this version of the film terrible, saying it was nothing more than an assembly. But he said he cut the bad material out of the movie and that the producers and Warner Bros. Added it back in just to make a buck. Well, that's understandable and what have you. But anyway, now John Williams' score for this film was good too. Now, as for our cast, we have Christopher Reeve as the title character. And I'm going to say he was amazing and what have you. As both Clark Kent and Superman, Reeve was such an amazing actor. Jeff East played the teenage version of Clark. And he was good. Marlon Brando played Jor-El. He was good. And despite his short appearance, Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor. I don't care what anybody said. He did a good job on that character. Ned Beatty played Otis. He's a pretty funny, bumbling henchman, what have you. Jackie Cooper played Perry White. He was pretty good too. Actually, they had Keenan Wynn was originally cast, but dropped out shortly before filming because of heart disease. And Cooper originally auditioned for Otis, as a matter of fact. Glenn Ford played Jonathan Kent, and he was pretty good. Trevor Howard played the first elder of the head of the Kryptonian Council. Now, I loved Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. Of course, after doing the original Black Christmas, and then the following year she was in the original version of the Amityville Horror. I'm going to say she was very good. But actually, there were many others who did this, were up for that role, including Ann Archer, Susan Blakely, Leslie Ann Warren, Deborah Raffin, heck, even Stalker Channing, who was already playing Rizzo in Grease. How do you like that? Actually, the final decision was between Chang and Kidder, but Kidder won. Jack O'Halloran played the large and mute Kryptonian villain Nun. Of course, I'll talk more about him when I review Superman 2. Valerie Perrine played Eve Teschmacher. I'm going to say she's pretty good. Maria Schell plays a Kryptonian scientist named Von Ah. Terrence Stamp played the leader of the baddies of Krypton, General Zod. Phyllis Staxter played Martha Kent. Suzanne York played Laura. She was good. Marc McClure, who actually previously played Boris in the original Freaky Friday with Jodie Foster, played Jimmy Olsen. She's good. Sarah Douglas played Ursa. And I'm going to say she was good, but, well, the other baddie, we'll talk more about her when I re-review Superman 2. And Harry Andrews played the second Elder. There's even a couple of cameos from Larry Hagman and Rex Reed as well. Yeah. And Kirk Allen and Noel Neal have cameos. But unfortunately, they play young Lois Lane's parents, but that was until the later home Mia released when you saw the extended version. They had recently played Superman and Lois Lane in the 1948 Superman theatrical serial and Ant-Man vs. Superman 1950 serials from Columbia. And they were the first actors to portray the characters on screen on live-action format. Actually, Neal, of course, reprised her role in the 1950s Adventures of Superman series. So anyway, so now you know about Superman the movie. This is a long video, okay? So I humbly apologize if this takes so long. But anyway, Superman the movie is definitely good. It would go on to have 3 sequels. So anyway, the story is really good. The score from John Williams is good. It's got a great cast, great characters, great settings, great humor, great action drills, and I don't know what have you. So overall, with everything said, would I recommend Superman the movie? The answer is simply hell yeah. Definitely go for it. So anyway, what did you think of Superman the movie? Let me know in the comments section below. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And I will be re-reviewing Superman 2 and 3 later on this month. Don't expect 4 until early next year, okay? Since that was a very, very bad movie. And stay tuned. Next time I'll be giving you my Saturday morning TV log of the Fabulous Funnies. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, you may want to check out my reviews for some of these other superhero flicks. In the upper left-hand corner is my, but I'll make sure they're recent DC films, even though theirs hasn't been done so well. But I still like them. In the upper left-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of DC's recent hit film, Blue Beetle. Or, if you'd like, go to the upper right-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of their anime feature, The League of Super Pets, from last year in 2022. Or if you'd like maybe something else from DC, well, I'd say just go for it. Check out my review of a film that should have done much better but didn't, and that would be The Flash. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya!